Hello everyone, I am Bets Golden. Welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be playing with this wax by Prima. Now this is not a new product that's on the market. I haven't really played with it much because I've never really known kind of what to do with it, and it's kind of messy, and I have, you know, a little bit of nails, so you're supposed to apply it with your finger and rub it in, which I'm going to do today, and I also have some baby wipes off to the side. But my friend at the Scrapbook Expo did a class in which she used these on some beautiful paper by Tonic. This is not by Tonic. This actually is by my friend. She sent this to me with Inviting Thoughts. Her name is Chris Flint, and she sent this to me from across the pond. I love it. It is a 12 by 8.5 each sheet, and this one right here is my very favorite. But this has like it's a beautiful texture, and it has a finish on it that's matte, so I think it's going to be absorbent. And then she sent me this one, which has a glossy, gorgeous shine finish on it. And then this one is that glossy shine, just in a color. And then this one is the glossy shine with a lot of little intricate details and things like that. So the technique that I want to try is actually what my friend learned in the class. I'm going to cut off about a card base off of each size of these. So I'm going to cut this down to 4 by 5.25 on each of these. Now, my friend no longer has these available, but I know that you can find similar ones on Tonic. So I will provide a affiliated link to Tonic so that you guys can check out some of their similar textured paper. And also, you can also, if you have embossing, ooh, this is a very nice texture. Look at that. It's so durable. Anyway, if you have embossing folders, you could make your own. That would be super easy as well. So I really am liking how this is cutting. I'm going to actually probably rough up the edges once I get it all done. Just, I think that'll be really pretty. And the reason why I'm using a couple different sheets is because I want to see how the wax interacts with the different colors and the different textures on the paper. Like, does it set up nice on the glossy? You know, does it soak in? Do I need to use more on the matte? Things like that. So we're just going to play and explore today. That's what the goal is. And I'm almost done cutting these down. And like I said, I really haven't used these waxes much because I found them to be muddy, and I'm like, I just don't know what to do with them. So now we're gonna see. This is so pretty. But I do have some more plans for the beautiful handmade paper, specialty paper that my friend has sent me. And these will end up, I'm sure, on a card base. Okay, so these will fit beautifully on a card base. And again, I will go down and pull those edges apart. So the first one I want to start with is probably this one, just because it is a, there's no gloss on it. So I'm going to, let's see. So I have the Lucky Emerald, and I'm just going to set this up over here so I know what I'm working with. I have the Amethyst Magic. I have the Aged Brass, and then I have the Rich Copper. So those are the colors that I have, and oop, look at what I did there. Whoopsie. Okay, so, well, I guess I'm going to start with the green, and I'm just going to, it's quite a bit actually, I'm just going to take and just rub kind of in spots with this and just see what this does. And it picks up the color beautifully. Then I'm going to go in with some of my Amethyst Magic. And this one isn't quite as creamy as the other one was. Maybe it's because it's been exposed to air a little bit longer. I'm not quite sure. But it's interesting because it looks like it's kind of been oxidized as well. So I'm not really pulling off necessarily a true purple all the time. It looks like there's some browns and things like that in there. Okay. And then let me go ahead and wipe my fingers off on a baby wipe. I want to try some of those. I actually think I want to put a little bit more green, and that green is very silky smooth. So I'm just going to place, and it really does absorb nicely into the paper. And I do like what I'm getting. It's gorgeous. And then let me go ahead and do some of this brass. This brass also seems to be really soft. That's a beautiful color. So you can get more color coverage depending on the intensity that you push the paper, the color in to the paper and how much you have on your finger. So this is the copper. That's pretty. So look how much that came up. Look at that. Wow. Okay. And then let me just go on through with, I want to go with that purple again. And I think that the reason why this purple is not as smooth as the other ones is because it has been exposed to air. I think this is the oldest one I have. I think I opened it up once I first got it, kind of played around with it, went, oh, that's cool, and then put it away because it was so messy. Okay, so I think that's what happened. Yeah, and now that purple is starting to shine on through the more I get. That's a beautiful color. Really pretty. So I love how this one turned out. Now, I got a little bit too much there. So let me see what happens if I go in and rub my baby wipe on it. Yeah, I don't like the effect of that. So I'm not going to do that again. So let me just put some more purple down. Okay. So that is the first one. And again, that's just with the embossed lift on it. And oh, see, and I can loosen it up with my thumb, which didn't have any color on it. That's kind of cool. And then just kind of blend it all through. So that's a really pretty effect. Okay, so let me go ahead and now, okay, so that was on a white, pretty pure white, nothing special on that paper. It's just, it's a pretty absorbent, matte, beautiful cotton paper. I'm not going to say it's like cardstock because it's not. It's like a cotton paper. It really is. So now I want to go and do this on like the paper you can get through Tonic, which is the embossed beautiful shine. And let's just see how this reacts. And we're going to do the white again. So let's see the color variation. There shouldn't be much of one. So I want to go through and I want to start off with this brass. Okay, so it really does apply quite smoothly on this. It still applies beautifully. And then let me start off down here with this copper. That's pretty too. Has a really nice luster to it. And then let me go in with this purple amethyst. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I had to pick up quite a bit of that just to get the purple to shine through. So I'm not a big fan of these once they've been open for too long. They're really hard to maneuver. And then we will put the Lucky Charm up on the top there. That's so soft and creamy. I love it. That's a really beautiful color. Okay, so this one got a little bit too heavy-handed with that purple down there because I really have to pick up a lot of it because it's kind of dried out a little bit, I think, is the problem. So, and then, you know, I'm just rubbing it all on through, blending. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but it works. So I'm not really seeing much difference between the two different textured, the glossy and non-glossy paper. So now what I want to do is I want to use this paper, which has a slight yellow tint to it, and see if that alters the colors of the wax at all. So let's see if that does anything at all to the colors. I am trying to get my fingers, you know, a little bit clean for this. All right, so for this one, I want to start off with that green. That's a little bit too much. And I do see a little bit of an altercation of the color. It's going on, whereas when I put the green on that before, it was a little, this is leaving like a really pretty aged browned undertone. And I think it's because of that yellowish tint to the paper. I think that's what's going on. All right, and then let me add some brass. I think out of all of these colors, so far I'm super impressed with the metallic-ies. I really like how that looks. And see, once again, you know, I went way too heavy-handed in there. So maybe I should go back through when I'm done and just do a heavy hand on this and just see how that looks. Okay, and so this one, I'm going to do the copper down here. And again, that's a heavy hand. So I'm going to go back through and just do that heavy hand and just really put a lot of wax on it. Then this one. And that's pretty, like beautiful colors, no doubt. Okay, and then let me go through and put this purple again down here. And again, it's super thick because I think it's been out in the water, in the air, and it's been exposed to air. Once this starts to get dried out, you guys, it's really hard to maneuver. I almost want to see what would happen if I put some water in the wax, but I don't think that would be a good idea. Okay, now, you know, I do have some heavy parts down through here. So what I want to do is I actually want to go through, and I just put a ton right there, like a ton. Okay, so when you add a whole bunch, it does take away from the detail. So I already know that if I try to use a wet wipe on it, I don't like the results. So what I want to do now is I actually want to take a paper towel, a dry paper towel, and just rub that in. Rub it in or rub it off. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see. So I'm going to take this dry paper towel, just crinkle it up, and I'm just going to start to just rub all over it. That's really cool. I like that. I can see a subtle difference. Now, normally I would be real tempted after I get this color on to just take a ink pad and like do a dry brush over it, like a real dry run over it, but I don't think that it will adhere or it will ruin my Stays-On pad because it is slicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take some of my copper and just lightly go over the very top and just see what that does. Will it stay on those peaks? That's very cool. Okay, so the color of your paper definitely does make a difference on what the final look is, because again, I use the same colors on this one as I did on this one, and this one definitely has a more brown, beautiful, vintagey type undertone. So the last one I'm going to do is this one, and this definitely is a brown. So the first thing I need to do is obviously clean up my little space here. And I don't know how long it takes for this wax to set up. I'm going to try it, to touch it in the morning and see if it dries. I am assuming that since this one dried out so much, just being opened briefly and then resealed, that it does dry and it does set in a permanent manner. But if it doesn't, I'm going to seal it with some hairspray. Okay, so for this one, let me just take my green and I'm just going to go over that like so in a couple spots. And then I'll take some of my purple and unfortunately I got to pick up quite a bit of that, so I'll just kind of, that's actually pretty. Like, that's the best purple application I've gotten since I started this whole thing, I think. Interesting. I think that the colors are staying fairly true on this piece of paper. How funny is that? And then this is going to be my aged brass. So, do you know what, you guys? I like the lighter touch. So the lighter the touch, the better the results. That's really pretty. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go kind of over all of it real brief, hit it in some spots with some green, and boom. I like that. All right, so surprisingly, this one, I really love how that turned out. I'm gonna go back over this one, and I'm actually going to try to rub this through, and then I'm going to go over and like use just a tiny bit on my finger over those raised edges. And I think I'm going to use that beautiful brass. So I'm just going to use a little bit and just go over the raised edges. So I'm barely touching it with just a touch of my wax, and that is a stunning result. That's beautiful. That really gives it a very lovely look. That's so pretty, you guys. So I would encourage you, when you're using the wax, to put use your heavy hand at first, wax it off with some of your paper towel, and then go back over very lightly, the light hand, and add a second layer to it, and you just get a beautiful result. That's gorgeous. I love that. Okay, so for this one, I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to go through with my green and just add that green through. That was a little bit heavier hand there. It's okay. That's so pretty. I just like that. I just love it. I think that's so cool. And then with this one, same thing. But for this one, I want to go in with the copper. Just, you know. And this one's interesting because there's a couple different raised textures on it. So, that's so cool. wiping off my hands off camera. Oh my, I've gotten carried away with this, haven't I? Okay, and then let's do some gold. All right, you guys, I really chased some rabbits tonight and had fun playing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can leave any questions or comments down below for me, and I will get back to you with all. And if I don't know the answer, I'll try to let you know. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I certainly hope you do so. And I will provide the Tonic Studio, where you can find similar paper to this, and then also scrapbook.com, in which you can find the Prima, and that'll all be listed down below with my affiliated links. And so just go check those out. When you shop on them, it does help me, helps my channel grow. So I really appreciate it when you guys can do that, and it's no additional cost to you. All right, until next time, happy crafting.